Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we need to talk about something incredibly urgent, a crisis that is unfolding right now, largely away from the daily headlines, but with devastating consequences. We're talking about the silent hunger crisis in Gaza, where hundreds of thousands of people are facing starvation. This isn't just about statistics. It's about real people, families, and children whose lives hang in the balance every single day. Imagine living in a place where finding your next meal is not a given, where the search for clean water is a daily struggle, and the sound of a child crying from hunger is a constant, heartbreaking reality. This is the situation for countless families in Gaza right now. According to the United Nations and other international aid organizations, the humanitarian situation has reached a catastrophic level. We're talking about more than 500,000 people, a staggering number, on the brink of famine. This isn't a future prediction. It's happening now. So, how did it get this bad? The current situation is the result of a complex and prolonged crisis. Ongoing conflict has severely damaged critical infrastructure. Roads, bakeries, water sanitation systems, and agricultural lands have been destroyed or rendered unusable. This destruction makes it nearly impossible to produce, transport, and distribute food effectively. Compounding this, the severe restrictions on the entry of humanitarian aid mean that essential supplies like food, water, and medical provisions are trickling in at a pace that is nowhere near enough to meet the overwhelming need. Aid convoys face immense logistical challenges and security risks, often preventing them from reaching the most desperate populations, particularly in the northern parts of Gaza. Think about the ripple effects of this. It's not just the immediate pangs of hunger. Malnutrition, especially in children, can lead to lifelong health problems, stunting their growth and cognitive development. It weakens immune systems, making people more susceptible to diseases, which spread rapidly in overcrowded shelters with poor sanitation. Pregnant and breastfeeding women are at extreme risk, jeopardizing the health of both themselves and their babies. Hospitals, already struggling with a lack of medical supplies and electricity, are overwhelmed with cases of severe acute malnutrition. It's a complete collapse of the systems that sustain human life and dignity. We often see numbers and reports, but it's the personal stories that truly convey the depth of this tragedy. Aid workers on the ground share accounts of parents skipping meals for days on end so their children can eat a handful of rice. They talk about people resorting to eating animal feed or wild plants, anything to quell the gnawing hunger. These are not choices. They are acts of desperation in the face of an impossible situation. Families who once led normal lives, who had jobs, homes, and dreams, are now reduced to a daily struggle for the most basic element of survival: food. The psychological toll of this constant stress and uncertainty is immeasurable. This is a humanitarian emergency of the highest order. The international community has a moral obligation to act. Global leaders and organizations are calling for immediate and unimpeded humanitarian access to all parts of Gaza. This means opening more border crossings, ensuring the safety of aid workers, and streamlining the process for getting supplies to those who need them most. It's about creating safe corridors so that food, water, and medicine can flow consistently and reach every single person in need. The calls for a sustained ceasefire are not just political. They are a fundamental prerequisite for any meaningful humanitarian response. Without a halt in hostilities, aid distribution remains perilous and insufficient. So, what can we do? It's easy to feel helpless when faced with a crisis of this magnitude, but our collective voice and actions can make a difference. First and foremost, stay informed and share this information. The more people who understand the reality of the situation in Gaza, the greater the pressure on world leaders to take decisive action. Public awareness is a powerful tool for change. Talk about it with your friends, your family, and on your social media platforms. Use your voice to amplify the calls for humanitarian aid and peace. Secondly, consider supporting reputable international organizations that are working on the ground in Gaza. Groups like the World Food Program, UNICEF, Doctors Without Borders, and the International Committee of the Red Cross are doing heroic work under incredibly difficult circumstances. Even a small donation can help provide life-saving food, clean water, or medical care to a family in desperate need. These organizations rely on public support to continue their operations. When you donate, you are providing a direct lifeline to someone facing starvation. Please do your research and give to an established, trusted organization to ensure your contribution has the maximum impact. We must also advocate for a long-term solution. This crisis is a symptom of a much deeper, unresolved conflict. Lasting peace is the only way to ensure that the people of Gaza can rebuild their lives and never face a catastrophe like this again. Encourage your elected officials to support diplomatic efforts that prioritize human rights, international law, and a just, sustainable peace for everyone in the region. Write to them, call them, and let them know that you care about this issue. What's happening in Gaza is a stain on our shared humanity. No person, anywhere in the world, should have to starve. The children of Gaza deserve a future where they can dream of being doctors, teachers, or artists, not one where their only thought is about their next meal. We cannot afford to be silent. We must demand more, for their sake and for our own. Let's transform our empathy into action and our outrage into advocacy. Thank you for taking the time to watch and to listen to this difficult but necessary conversation. Your attention matters. Please share this video to help raise awareness about this critical humanitarian emergency. If you found this information valuable, consider subscribing to the channel for more discussions on important global issues. Let's continue to be a community that cares and acts. Thank you.